Trying to get an interview with Ali was almost impossible. There were 1,000 accredited journalists.
The heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali!
I went up believing that because the Seven Network had the rights to the fight in Australia, that part of the deal was that we would get an interview. I got there and they just said, you're joking. No one's getting an interview.
I am the true champion of the world, and they all shall bow. They all shall bow.
So I said to the boys, just pick up the gear. We're going into the hotel. We saw Angelo Dundee, the famous trainer. And I said, Mr. Dundee, I'm a fan of yours. He said, oh, really? Who did I train? Fortunately, I was a boxing fan and I knew some of them. He said, you're a news team. Cheated a little bit and said, yeah. Can we go and see him? He said, 2 or 3 minutes. Went into his room and he's lying there looking magnificent. I introduced myself and he just ignored me. And I introduced myself again and he just ignored me. There's a huge mirror behind him. I said to one of the cameramen, look, you can use that mirror as a third camera. You don't have to stay on me, just turn occasionally and get that third angle. And then he took notice. And he looked up, looked at the mirror, and he looked at me and he said, you got imagination.
You have to have an imagination. You have an imagination. To have this show, you have to set the cameras up. You have to lie on the couches. You have to imagine. You have to imagine. You have to have an imagination. Everybody's got to have imagination to be successful. All great poets, all great leaders of countries are predicting what has got to be done 20 years from now. Like I wrote something once that says, the man who has no imagination stands on the earth. He has no wings, he cannot fly. I repeat, the man who has no imagination stands on the earth. He has no wings, he cannot fly. Columbus had imagination. The Wright brothers had imagination. Joe Frazier don't have they told me I was going to fight in Manila, so I wrote a poem. It'll be a thriller and a killer and a chiller when I get that gorilla in Manila. See, these are poems. Imagination. They're tracks. Sells tickets. People come. You understand?
The Thrilla in Manila.
1975, and a chunk of the world stopped for a prize fight. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier.
Muhammad Ali, the star with his charisma and his show business, put that fight on the front pages. Joe Frazier didn't get the headlines, but inside the ring, he was a clear match for Muhammad Ali. I had the great privilege of spending a week with Ali as he prepared for that monumental fight.
After I whoop Frazier, they shall crawl. How dare you to think Joe Frazier has a chance? How dare you?
Do you think it's a bit silly sometimes that people will pay $10 million to see two men fight?
Well, not really, because they spend $10 billion to go to the moon. What in the hell are we doing on the moon? Bring back 2 damn rocks. That don't help nobody. But the fight, many people are going to see it. They're going to be inspired. They're going to be uplifted. They pay. And the 10 million is not from 1 or 2 people. This is what it adds up to be. You don't have to go. They go to see the world's greatest fighters. Now, you may think it's silly because they pay to see 2 black fighters. If you're from a racist country or if you're a racist-minded person, what in the hell are these 2 blackers or 2 niggers fighting for all of that money? But white people, Elvis Presley makes it in 1 year. Tom Jones made it. The Beatles made it. So why is it stupid to see 2 of the world's greatest athletes, physical men? I can beat everybody in your country. Joe Frazier can beat all men in your country. We can beat all the men in Africa, all the men in China. You're talking to the greatest athlete in the history of the world, and he happens to be black. When you tell me, do I think it's silly to get a good payday for my labors, that means all of your people, you really don't never want, they'll never have nothing. What will they ever be worth if I'm not worth it? You understand? That's what upsets me. What am I, if I'm not worth a damn thing, what is the average man in your country worth? Who's Aboriginal or Asian America? He ain't worth nothing. Here you are taking their idol and the greatest athlete of all times, and you're saying, do you think it's silly to be paid to see you? Well, the average man, he don't have no future. He don't have no future. If I don't, You understand? This is what I see. I see in the depths. So you're not talking to Joe Frazier. You're not talking to a pork chop eater, illiterate. You're talking to a wise Muslim. And what you say don't upset me, but I can see what is your reason for saying that? Why would you even think of that? What's in your mind? What moves you say is silly? You understand?
But
it's not what you say.
Yeah, but if you think my motivation is because it's two black men, you're wrong.
No, I'm not saying.
I raise it because it's a simple
that's all
fight.
I see. That's the only reason I see.
Okay. Let's talk about a few personal things. You seem to have a very unusual amount of energy. Do you think so?
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, not just your fighting, even when you talk, your promotions, whenever you're in public, you just seem to go, and it seems to be some incredible energy inside, more than most people.
Well, you haven't seen the half of it.
Did y'all forget the fastest, the prettiest boxer that ever lived? Did you all forget? How easy you forget. Pick up your garments and follow me.
When he trained, he did 3 rounds with world-class heavyweights, top 10. The last 3 rounds he did with a middleweight, a smaller guy.
This man is awful fast. This man is for speed. He's 3 times faster than Joe Frazier. I already have all these rounds behind me.
Supposed to be faster so that Ali could sharpen up on his speed. And every time the middleweight went for his head, he'd just move it, and he'd miss. And then every now and then, Muhammad would go bang. He was a world-ranked middleweight and he couldn't land a punch.
This game is so easy. Boxing is so easy. It ain't nothing to it. It ain't nothing to it.
And then finally, when the round was up, Muhammad grabbed him and spanked him on the bum and said, "You're a naughty boy."
You're a naughty boy. You are a naughty boy. You shouldn't be so naughty. Huh?
Let's talk about the charisma that is built up to these great fight purses. It's not just because you're the best fighter, it's because you've promoted it and because you have a great following. So it's more than the fight, isn't it?
It's not paying the money. It's coming to see me, wanting to see me. See, and that's pay to get in. Not natural. It's more than a fight. It's the personality.
Sure.
See, a personality attract the Catholics, the Muslims, the Jews, the.
But let's look at what makes
every
up
race.
what makes up that personality. For example, is there sex appeal?
Knowledge.
Just knowledge?
Knowledge.
What about sex appeal?
I got a wife. I don't talk about sex. That's private. That's nasty. Sex. Who do I appeal to sexually? That's why I'm covered up now. I don't want you even looking at my leg. I don't appeal to who sexually. Why to appeal how sexually? That's nasty. What do you mean?
Do you think sex appeal is nasty?
Yeah, sex appeal. What does sex appeal makes you think nasty?
I
Makes
know.
you want to go to bed with somebody. That's
Really?
what sex appeal. That's what you're saying. The European world is full of that freakish stuff. See, we don't go for all that freak stuff. Sex appeal means nudity. Women walking around with the breasts out. Men with the shirts half open. People desire to understand that which they cannot understand. Things that are not real. They like to be mystified. Tell them the plain truth and reject it. Santa Claus is coming tonight. The 3 pigs, the 3 bears, the Wolf Man, Batman, Superman. So they want foolishness. See, they have a saying, a wise man can act a fool, but a fool cannot act a wise man. I am the greatest. They like that. They must fall. Limit their sucker. Talk jive, you're falling 5. I'm pretty. I'm the greatest of all times. I can't lose. You come out tonight, he won't fall in 4. He won't fall in 6. He falls in 5. Oh, they buy tickets. They crowd. And if they don't know me, that's all they see. Until they hear an interview like now, and they walk away saying, he's not as dumb as he looks.
I'll beat him like he's amateur.
Louisville, Kentucky, sail
This time I shall shock the world. I will shock the world.
So what do you think about Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier's just an ordinary individual. He don't represent nothing. He's not intelligent. If you play his talk next to my talk, you'll find out that he can't compare with myself mentally. He's just a victim of circumstances, and he's just a tool. He's doing his best, but he don't know where he's at or where he's going.
There will be no doubt after Frazier goes out.
The rivalry between Ali and Frazier began in 1971.
I'm aware now that, the guy got a couple loose screws someplace.
Their first bout was hugely anticipated. It was billed as the fight of the century.
A pulverizing left hook sends Ali to the canvas.
And it lived up to the hype. The fight went the distance, 15 rounds. The points went Frazier's way, a unanimous decision. For Ali, it was his first ever defeat. 3 years later, they were on again. This time it was the super fight. Again, the fight went the distance, but this time Ali came out on top.
You have it, Ali!
The two great heavyweights were now 1-1, and the boxing world was bursting with anticipation for the third and final fight.
I don't think that I'm the most effective puncher, but I do know that I am the fastest heavyweight in the history of boxing with feet and hands. I'm the best looking heavyweight, more handsome than any other fighter, less marks, and I'm more intelligent. See, boxers like Joe Frazier don't have an imagination. He's just a flat-nosed, ugly pug. I'm in good shape. you know what I mean? When you talk to him, everything he be saying is, you know what I mean? Run 14 miles this morning. My left hook is in good shape. You know what I mean? I'm hitting real hard. Clay's good, but Clay will get tired. I got my left hook. You know what I mean? Just an athlete. Can't talk about nothing.
Poor Joe became so far second in the publicity stakes. All we journalists wanted to talk to was Ali. And Joe started really resenting that.
What do you think of the sort of promotions that he gets going?
We're going to talk about him or me? What we going to talk about?
Both.
Because I'm getting sick of asking questions for him, you know what I mean? I can't speak for him. If you want to talk about something for me, then I'll answer the question the best way I can, Mike. But if you want to talk about him all day, I can't answer questions for him because I don't know what the heck he's doing.
He was combing his hair and he suddenly snapped his comb in half in anger.
Cool off. Okay.
It was so fast we couldn't pick it up on the camera.
I always comb my hair when the press is here because I must preserve my beauty.
What do people mean to you generally, Mohammed?
Well, if I ask you, what would you say? What do people mean to you? People is just people.
But they're more important to you because you are always surrounded by a lot of people. Will the crowds always be there?
Well, I hope so.
I have a name for Joe Frazier's footwork. It is called the rabbit hop.
Joe Frazier is a rabbit.
The rabbit hop. You ever see Joe Frazier train?
And they jump around, hop, 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 boom, 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 hop, 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 boom, boom, boom. Because Frazier didn't have much movement in his feet. He'd just move into position and throw these powerful punches.
You'll never talk to another athlete. I can boast white, black, blue, whatever sport, that's intelligent as me, as witty as me. You're a television announcer. You have a good show. You're a wise man. You ask a lot of questions. Athletes are not as wise as you. Only this one right here is as wise as you. Nobody else. I could lecture and talk. I could talk circles around you all day on things that you never even dreamed of. If me and you had to give a lecture in a college in Australia and you wrote a lecture and I wrote a lecture, I'll bet you my life after hearing mine, they would go to sleep on yours. Not condemning you, but I'm saying that I'm not just a boxer. Yeah. So no other boxers or no athletes will you ever talk to who will give you the mental thing that I'm giving you. I can boast and say that because it's so true.
Our 2 to 3 minute interview became 2 to 3 hours, and everyone around him in his team was angry with us for disrupting the schedule. But he didn't care, and he said, look, I'm going to do some things for you. Have you been to Joe Frazier's training? I said, yes, we went this afternoon. He said, go again tomorrow. I'm going to do something for you. We heard this noise up in the, way up in the top of this old town hall. And there's Muhammad shouting at Joe.
That sucker can't even dance. He's slow, he's short, he's slow and he's short. And on the first, I'ma wipe all of you suckers out. I'ma wipe all of y'all.
I hope you're all ready to go, Slick. My man.
He's climbed up with a chair in his hand. I mean, how dangerous is that? And then he threw it down into the ring. If he'd hit Joe, there went $10 million. At one fight apiece, the world was watching.
From Louisville, Kentucky, USA.
The name Muhammad Ali has made me the most attractive human being on earth.
Muhammad Ali!
The world actually stops when I fight. People, all religions, all races, countries that never follow boxing. This is why my fights are so much bigger than all sporting events combined.
It's 15 rounds, and here is round one.
What a lot of people forget about that massive fight, the Thrilla in Manila, was that it was so gladiatorial. I mean, they nearly killed each other. Frazier was slow to start.
Round three.
Ali was looking sharp.
Ali leading his own cheering.
The tables turned, and Frazier was coming back. Then Ali hit back.
Ali has gone out for a knockout. Frazier looks awful tired, is puffed around both eyes now.
Both of these incredible athletes were still on their feet, but only just. After 14 rounds, Joe Frazier had reached his limit. Both trainers were ready to throw in the towel before the last round. When you throw in the towel in boxing, that means I give in. Frazier's trainer picked up the towel first and got it in.
Frazier, I think it's going to be over. It's all over. This has to have been one of the most bruising heavyweight championships of all time.
Muhammad Ali was regarded by so many as not only the greatest boxer, but the greatest athlete. Now, some people disagree with that, and it's hard to separate his athleticism, his boxing ability, and his showmanship. Wherever he went, there was a show. So that helped him become number one, whether he was or whether he was not. What he's left us, really, is being what he always said, the greatest.
I believe that all people have a mission on earth, all people born for purpose, and it's the knowledge of that purpose which enables every soul to fulfill it. The wise man is he who knows his life purpose. I believe I'm wise enough to know my purpose is to be one black man here in the world who's not a prostitute, who's not an Uncle Tom, who's not a behind liquor, a boot kisser, who stands up, who makes millions of dollars, who looks people like yourself in the face and everybody in the world and speak for all of my people and any people, regardless of race, creed, or color, that are down in minority, and regardless of the money, stay great, stay world famous, represent God, and still make millions of dollars and don't be a, excuse the expression, ass kisser.